you start the recording? Great. Well, welcome everyone to our special year-end gathering. It's just so wonderful to see everyone and have this opportunity together to reflect on what we've achieved together during 2022. We're recording it because we are in the process right now of really building a new future together for the movement for community-led development. And it's a very exciting time. I was going to throw up my little slide here. So share screen, share slide. So are you seeing my slide? Thumbs up if you are. Oh, yay. Okay, great. So the purpose of this call is for us to share, for the first part of the call, what we have achieved individually as our national association that we formerly called chapters, but as part of our recreation process for the future, we're now calling them national associations. Your teams individually, what you have been able to achieve in shifting power, what you're most pleased about. We want to record all those. And then the second part of the call is we really want to co-create some very concrete ideas of what you personally and your team sees can be achieved in 2023. So in terms of sharing what happened in 2022, many of you have participated with Anne in creating an umbrella strategy for the national, formerly known as chapters, now known as national associations, your networks of in your country, and in terms of strengthening your capabilities there, getting resourced, and becoming more and more capable of taking transformative action. So we want that as a broad and open discussion. We really want to hear from each person. So please raise your hand if you would like to start the conversation. What have we achieved in 2022?
John, this is Gunjan.
Yes.
So
yes, go
can
ahead.
I make a suggestion? I just noticed we do have a lot of people who are new to MCLD today, or at least new to the global call today. So do you want to give a very quick overview for them? Because I see a lot of very new names.
Oh, okay. So probably something has brought you to this meeting, and I appreciate your coming here. So the movement for community-led development was, I'm going to stop the slide. Okay, was launched at the 2015 Sustainable Development Summit at the United Nations. And it was launched because so many of us shared an enormous frustration that the world community was ignoring communities as the force for development, that the Millennium Development Goals era did not have anything in there about communities. And yet it's communities that cause change. It's communities that if the MDGs and now the SDGs are going to be achieved, it's going to be through the action at the community level. Almost every sustainable development goal requires coordinated action among at least 12 of the SDGs at the community level. So it was launched to raise the profile of community-led development and to achieve 5 goals. 1, to ensure that women, youth, and marginalized group have a voice in community decision-making. 2, that communities have a fair share of national budgets. That so often in so many countries, all of the public money stays in the capital city and doesn't get devolved down to the local levels. 3rd is that we need to partner with local governments that are democratic, responsive, that are effective, that are transparent, that are democratic in their processes, and well connected with civil society. The fourth is that if you get those three things, then you could probably get the fourth, which is to have quality public services, to which every human person has a right to equal access to public services. And fifth is that communities are the source of resilience. When there's any kind of shock, it's community leaders who are the first responders, and that has to be strengthened. Communities need the resources, the information, the partnerships to really think through their own resilience strategies and prepare to deal with the shocks that are always going to come and hit us. So those are our 5 goals. We have 1,500 or more community-based organizations in the movement. 72 INGOs have supported the movement. And during this year, there has been a commitment to really design a new future. So in a few minutes, I'll go more into where we are in that process of co-creating a new future for the movement. So let me just check. Gunjan, is that anything you want to add to that?
No, that sounds wonderful. Just wanted to make sure that all our new friends and colleagues here got a sense of who we are.
Great. Okay, well then, if someone would like to start this first conversation, which is what did we achieve in 2022? And so I think someone from Uganda should start with that workshop, because Anne just said that that was a great first innovation. So who from Uganda wants to share about that workshop? If you don't start talking, I will call on you, Sophie.
That's a scare, John. Well, thank you so much, John. And hello, everyone. First, I'd say I was delighted to be part of the movement of community-led development through the year 2022. And for me, the awakening, the realization that CLD is the game changer, the foundation for transformation. After the world global leaders have done it all, working with a top-bottom approach, CLD came at the right point, like you made the introduction, John, that communities have the power to actually innovate and find solutions to their problems. So we are thankful to the innovators of CLD. What did we achieve? I think, not to take much time, from the Ugandan perspective, is the fact, apologies, I have a roommate who is very busy here. Please bear with us.
Yes.
George, please reduce on the volume. Yes, so the fact that there is realization in the power in CLD, we've had conversations in Uganda. We had the initial marketing event early in the year where Gunjan was there with us, that brought together all categories of leaders in government, NGOs, and other NGOs in Uganda, the CBOs. And we realized that CLD will be the, the vehicle to support government in realizing all the various affirmative programs that it is putting in place. We have the youth-led livelihood program. We have now the parish development model that is grounded in communities. So you can't just do any transformation without having CLD integrated. And I know there was a presentation by the team to government that the department leading on parish development model, and we hope this will be integrated further. The other one is the capacity enhancement and making actors, community level actors appreciate CLD. We just shared that we had a training where we had a number of actors actually coming to the realization of, oh, we have the power to change. Oh, we have the capacity. We have the tools in CLD that can help us transform our communities. So there was this whole excitement, reawakening and recommitment to engage with CLD. Yeah, I know my colleagues will share more, but for me, the kind of mindset change, for lack of a better word, is an achievement that I see in 2022. Yeah, so I'll
Yes, we
stop
think
at
that's a
that.
very good word. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so Pascal, I'm calling on you next. What did you accomplish in 2022?
Thank you, John. Hi, everyone. Yes, I would just share pieces of some achievements of the MCLD chapter, particularly in Benin. And I will not speak specific for other countries. They could have opportunity to share what have been achieved in the country. The first thing is we really operate based on the umbrella strategy. We look at where we are in terms of chapter. Do we have the representation of all stakeholders, I would say civil society organization, governments, stakeholders, partners, and do we have representative of business, entrepreneurs association as well? That is constantly how we look at our chapter. The second aspect is, do we have the same commitment of all those who have been involved at the beginning? What is missing? How do we keep going on the same commitment? The practice there was about community of practices to make sure that we know each other. We really assess our strength, our assets, to make it available for co-creation purpose, including resources. I will mention one aspect regarding this. We, in Benin chapter, we focused this year, 2022, in food transformation. And how do we link this to environment? And we don't have any resources available specifically allocated for that. And we say we need to tap in the capacity of how do we utilize resources, how do we utilize competencies, looking at how we could move forward.
Right.
And we organized a campaign where the purpose was to emphasize on local recipes and how do we value local crops in that regard. And we make the budget. As a chapter, we contribute, and we ask other partners to contribute as well so that we organize the events. Not much was involved, but that was a principle. To share that we as chapter, we don't wait for grant to move ahead, but we will mutualize what we have in terms of resources to move ahead. We have two campaigns organized. We call the first one step one. The second one was step two.
Good name.
That will be continued. That will continue next year. And from what we have achieved so far, we could build on this and submit proposal for grants. That will be concrete. We know what we are doing. We know where we want to move, and that will be more concrete in terms of how do we continue. That is one example. And as we know, there is a large interest when we talk about the participatory CLD assessment tool. People are very excited. I would like to know, and so on and so on. And we have organized a 3 days training. The first session, we did it with youth association and a large platform at the university. There were representatives from those organizations. We have already 2 sessions, and we'll complete 1 session before end of December, making sure that have a group of youth and the stakeholders really involved and very interested, who could really take over the process and really be sharing the participatory CLD assessment tool. That is one piece I would like to share just about this.
That's great, Pascal. So excuse me just a minute. I think the size of the group is growing. We're now pressing up against 40. So I'm going to call an audible. And Sarah, if you could break us into 3 groups, and if you could, as you always do so brilliantly, steer people as they drop in and out. And then Anne and Gunjan and I can each go into one of them, and we can record the conversations that we have in breakout groups so that more people can get to share. And then we'll come back together in 20 minutes. How about that?
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so if you could make that happen, Sarah, is that? She's so good at this.
One more time, what we want to focus on in the small groups, sorry.
Is what we accomplished, what we achieved in 2022.
Okay.
Okay, they should be open now.
Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. We had a wonderful breakout session. Isabel and we had a mix of French and English, and Isabel generously was translating, plus I was recording. So comments from the DRC will be typed up and shared more broadly. I think everybody's eager to have a second session in which we talk about the goals for the future. Is everybody now back? Do you think, Sarah? Oh yeah, we're up to 50 people in the room. So yeah, people were some great accomplishments, but also people are really very aware of what they want to do next. So that's exactly what this whole call was designed for. Let me show you one more slide, and then we will probably go back into rooms again pretty quickly. So is it visible? Thumbs up? Can you? Oh, good. Okay. So I love this picture. This picture, I think, is a great picture of us, the Movement for Community-Led Development. They are trying to build a network of networks. We are a network of networks, and we have been meeting in different groups to really become a new form of organization that is inclusive, that is equitable, accountable, transparent, and fundable at much higher levels. So you've heard during this first session that people have been able to do great things with zero money. They have been able to do great things with small money, but we need more. We need a lot more small money. We need certain minimum money to do activities in each of our countries. And to do that, we need a new structure and a way of making decisions together that's inclusive and democratic. So we are partway in this process. We had meetings in October and November, and we're putting on our website where we are so far. And this conversation that we will do next is our next step to begin to make concrete what we want to accomplish in 2023. So first I want Gunjan, if you would just take a few minutes to tell people about the co-creation listening process that's underway.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, John. So we are very, very excited about, shaping this new future for the movement and doing it all together, because any movement is only as strong as its members. And our strength and the reason we have grown in strength and credibility and are being recognized everywhere is because of all our members who have in countries and globally been championing community-led development. So we have designed a process to ensure that this next step in the journey for us of what the movement looks like going forward, what our structure is, and how we remain true to our values and principles is designed with all of you who are here in the room, but also all of our other members. John mentioned at the beginning, we are over 1,500 organizations from all over the world. Organizations of different sizes, different focuses, working in different regions, with different priorities, but all of us are committed to putting communities at the center and to principles of inclusion and equity and transparency and accountability, right? So we've designed a process so that we can get your inputs in terms of how do we do this? How do we transform ourselves into this organization that is frankly not just, that can actually become a model even for others when they think about what an equitable, inclusive, power neutral space looks like. So starting, as John mentioned, we already started, these calls where we intentionally listen to our priorities and our visions that all our members bring in. In addition to this, in January and February, throughout January and February, we will have a series of listening cafes. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to share with you a calendar of dates and times. If you want to be a part of it, and we really would love to have you to be a part of it, sign up for any date and time that is convenient for you. These listening cafes will be, they will be in different languages. So if English is not your first language, if you're more comfortable in French, if you're more comfortable in Spanish, we will make sure that, there is a listening cafe in that language for you to be able to share your vision for the movement. So these 45-minute cafes are optional. We will have any number of people depending on who signs up for that date and time, and will be an open space for all of us to discuss specifically what are the kind of changes and structures that we are looking for within the movement, the national association level, at the global level, to be able to continue our work. The second thing that we are doing is that we're going to send out a survey. So not everybody will have the time to be, or the internet connection to be able to attend listening cafes. And so for them, there is going to be a survey, and you can do both, and you're welcome to do both. And that survey will again try to understand what are your priorities in terms of a movement structure that is inclusive, equitable, transparent, accountable, and fundable, right? And finally, what we are going to do is, in addition to these two initiatives, we are also individually holding calls, consultations with a lot of our members to understand, especially the US-based members, because the US organization is going to change completely. So to really understand from them, what is going to be a fair structure as well. So once again, we will be reaching out to you in various different ways to make sure that you are part of this journey to co-create our future. And if you already have ideas, if you already have thoughts that are bubbling up, send them our way, write to us. We are in the listening mode completely.
Great, thanks, Gunjan. So and I know when it comes to, and we heard some of the ideas already in our last breakout groups of specific visions of activities, of achievements that you would like to see in 2023. I know I would like to see a very strong national association for the movement in the DRC. I would like to see a very more national associations for MCLD across Latin America and in India and Asia, other parts of Asia. Rowena Sabari, I'm really glad to see you're here today. So we have, we span the world, and the world is interested in CLD. So we now need to really be as strong a movement as we possibly can. So I'd like us to organize one more 20-minute breakout group. And here, please share your vision of what your national association could do, or what you can personally do with your leadership and your creativity in 2023 to advance the goals of community-led development and strengthen communities. So with that, Sarah, if you can do all the magic to put us back into 20 more minutes of breakout groups, that would be perfect.
John, can I also quickly make one request here? Or just actually
Nice.
to let people know that we will be sharing out the materials that are coming. So even if we are in different breakout groups and we are not doing report outs, everybody will get a chance to hear from others.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
Thanks.
Again, if you need any help with the breakout rooms, let me know and I can help you find your way to your discussion. Annette, Lillian, Combo, or Jacques, do you need any help making your way to the breakout room?
Yeah,
Thanks,
we're coming
Sarah.
back.
Thank you, Annette.
Okay, well, listen, I'd love to hear just some reflections on, I'm just stopping my little local recording here. So some reflections on people's feelings that they got about the future during their session. If anybody wants to share from their session, just raise your hand and we'll call on you. Everybody's so shy when we're in the big group. So who would like to reflect on what happened in their breakout session? What were your feelings coming from your breakout session? Gunjan, how was yours?
Fantastic. We had a range of voices from, from Ethiopia to Canada to Kenya, Sierra Leone, DRC, Uganda, sharing US, everybody sharing their commitment and their vision. I think there was a common vision amongst the national associations for 2023 to become more sustainable, especially the ones who've kind of registered themselves, to see how do they actually ensure some line of funding to be able to carry out some of the work and activities sustainably. There was a vision around, partnerships, whether it's partnerships with the government, whether it's partnerships with these two of the national association talked about partnerships with government that was happening. There was also this question around what is it that we could do from MCLD to support, not just associations, but individual organizations who are new or who are just coming into our meetings in their work. Excuse me. So lots of rich conversation around the vision for the future on a range of issues from peace building to sustainability. And anybody who was in my breakout room, please feel free to jump in and share your vision.
Okay, while you're thinking of that, Anne, how was it in your group? Is Anne with us? Okay.
Sorry, are you looking for me?
Oh yes, I was looking for you. Hi, Anne. How was it? What was your feeling coming out of your group?
My computer died. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, 2023. We have so much momentum going. And the thing that really strikes me is that everybody has unique contextualized visions that they have co-created locally and within the context of their countries and their cultures. So we're spanning the range. And unlike, projects where all the projects address the same one issue, this is really a testament to the power of community-led development, because we have so many diverse things going on. And I just want to do a quick shout out to the Sierra Leone chapter, who has like a 10-point plan of what they're going to do this year that I reported out on. That was amazing. So we want to try and share all of these things as much as possible amongst all the chapters, so you can see what the others are doing, all the national associations, see what they're doing, see what resonates with you, get inspiration, maybe get ideas for innovation. So I will stop there, but I took notes and we'll be writing it up in detail.
Wonderful. Yes, we are really committed to having the MCLD website reflect your voice, your visions, everything that we're co-creating. We want transparent and shared. In my group, there was a big emphasis on youth, on really infusing this mindset, this philosophy, these practices into the schools, into youth groups, into really having youth experience themselves as change agents and be successful as change agents. There was a big emphasis on bringing the themes and voice and perspective of CLD into policy circles everywhere. Lots of recommendations around regional coordination and working together across national associations, as well as looking for more tools to use that we can share and use in our programming. So that it's going to be a great year, and I'm sure things will happen that will frustrate us. That is part of why we're so resilient. Things happen that frustrate us. But I've come away very, like Anne was just saying, that there's some very specific things that that will be happening in our countries, and we really want to celebrate and amplify and make sure that we're all experiencing that in our space of solidarity and clarity and love and commitment, these things can happen. So I'm very inspired by everyone's leadership and accomplishment. And we all will do what we can to move forward. Let me just say, you'll be, as Anne mentioned, we'll be writing up the outcomes and visions of today's meeting. Will be, you heard from Gunjan on the next steps around this co-creation process. Specifically, I will try to keep everyone informed also what's happening with US members and our pressurizing our government. Isabel, I'm really happy to hear you're pressurizing in Canada. There's just so much that can be done now. We have, I know several of us have been on calls also with the government, in the UK and in other European governments also, to get them supporting, be in more of a supporting rather than dominating role in all of our activities. So hopefully we are on the threshold of some real concrete progress. Let me just check with my colleagues. I want, I know a lot of you will be taking time off during the holidays. So those of you who are celebrating Christmas, I want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. We will, particularly in Ethiopia, they celebrated a week later, old calendar, but please have wonderful holidays and a wonderful, wonderful new year. Anne, Sarah, Gunjan.
John, I have an announcement.
Yes, please. That's what I was looking for.
So, one of the things that came up, Pascal brought this up in our celebration group, was for 2022 was really the, how we've engaged with USAID, he mentioned, and, a lot of others talked about the ability to get them to listen. And so one of the things we have managed to do is, as some of you know, last year, USAID Administrator Samantha Power made a commitment that by 2030, 50% of all the funding from USAID will go to programs that put communities in the driver's seat. And one of the things that we've been doing very consistently is working with her, and not with her, with USAID, to push them to see that's great, but how that 50% is defined and what needs to be done should not just come from people in Washington, D.C., or, or in the US. It should really come from national organizations, national associations, local organizations, and CBOs. So on January 10th, we are organizing a special consultation. USAID agreed with us. So on January 10th, we have a special consultation where they're going to come in a listening mode. I think the word for 2023 should be listening. So they're going to really come in a listening mode, and we are going to organize ourselves to, they have come up with a list of good practices, or practices they believe they need to change in order for local, to build their own capacity to be able to work with local organizations, right? So far, it's always been about, well, local organizations need to build the capacity to work with USAID, but it's the reverse. USAID needs to build the capacity, and other funders need to build the capacity to work with local organizations. So that's happening on the 10th. Before that, we will circulate to everyone in different languages the list of practices. And what we're really hoping to do that day is to tell them very clearly, these are the things that we think should be changed. These are our priorities as CBOs, as local organizations. This is what you need to do to be able to put communities in the driver's seat and to be able to really, ensure the agency of local organizations. So you'll see an invite coming shortly, but I wanted to, just share this out with everyone.
Great, thanks, Gunjan. Any other announcements for the good of the order? Okay, well, watch your emails. You'll be getting the invitation to that meeting with USAID to a new resilience policy from USAID that we want to give input on, as well as all the other development partners. We want to get them all transformed thoroughly in 2023. So they need to get transformed if we're going to achieve the 2030 goals, that's for sure. So thank you all, and I will see you next year. So have a wonderful holiday break, and we'll see you in 2023. So if you want to unmute and say goodbye, we'll complete today's call. Thank you all for your
Bye.
Ciao.
Happy
Bye.
Bye.
Kushe,
Bye.
Having a great
Bye.
time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Madam Han. Bye, Madam Han.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Judy.
bye.
Bye,
Hey,
Bye,
Bye, Joanna.
Bekeki.
Bye, Dr.
Yes.
Bekeki.
Thank you.
Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Jude.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye,
Bye, Mr.
BKK.
Pascal.
Bye, Pascal. Bye, honey.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Bye, Annette.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Gotta run.
bye.
Take care.
Take care.